Hello, YouTube. How's everybody doing? Hope everyone's well. This is Tammy as a yarn crafter coming to you with a 2-in-1 video. I was hoping to put a video out yesterday, had a bit of a headache, so it didn't bother. And the video would have been WIPs I'm working on. So it's going to be that, and it's going to be things we're making Thursday information as well. So to start off with, we'll go to my WIPs. I only have one WIP for you, and it's from my book that I'm working out of, Head to Toe Winter Knit. And like I said, this book is available on Amazon, I know for sure. I've seen it on the Canadian site and the US sites. I looked on both. Don't know where else you might be able to find this book. But I gotta give credit where credit's due also, because originally when I started this book, I thought I would do the very first pattern and work my way through. That way, when the next pattern, I know what the next pattern is, I can get my supplies ready and have them in a bag, ready to go for when the current project ends. Yeah, I did that for about 3 or 4 patterns and I got really bored with it. So I gave that idea up. And then I kind of stole an idea from Erin over at Crafting Kitty. So this is where the credit's got to go to her, because on her channel, she does Fridays with Fred, and she puts polls up on her community tab and on her Facebook group, and then she combines the total to see what project you guys pick for her to make next. I'm just doing mine over on my community tab because I don't have a group Facebook for, other than my personal one, and I didn't want to do it on there. So on my community tab, there is a poll up with 3 items. If you want to go over and put a vote in, it's more entertainment for me. It takes a few seconds, go over there and pick 1, 2, or 3. And then when these are done on a Friday of the day, if they're done on a Friday, then that day. If not, it'll be the next Friday. If they're done any other day, because I try to do ending my polls on a Friday. So what you guys voted on last poll were these penguin boot cuffs. And I will show you what the finished project's supposed to look like. Now, I think they are so adorable. Yeah, there's a bit of color work, but I don't mind doing color work. If you guys had seen the hat I made for my husband back in December. So there's that. Now, you guys would have saw last week, I got the one completely knitted. Now, it does bunch up a little down here in the color work. That's just by the way I carry my yarn, because here's the back, the rib section, and then the back of the color work. And you can see, yeah, it's messy, but that's what happens with color work. My ends are not yet sewn in, and it's not sewn together in the round. But where I was last week on my second boot cuff was barely even started. I was way down here at the bottom, as you see my stitch marker. So I've got, not even sure how many rows left to do. 12 more rows to do. And then the rib part will be done on the second one, and I can bind off. And then get the sewing of the ends and get hopefully them put together. And I'm hoping to have it done for tomorrow, but no guarantees. It all depends, I guess, on what I feel like doing. Now, Sophie, on the other hand, I haven't touched her. She's kind of sitting off in her own little world here at the corner of my couch, just hanging, not doing anything special. So that's my WIP. Now, the second part of the video I want to do for you guys was things we're making Thursday. I have been enjoying this group so much. I will try and share links down below. But what it is, it started back in January of 2023. And I think there was other 4 or 6 content creators, something like that. I know it was a very, very small group. And they decided to collect 12 free patterns that anybody could find if they want to make it. And each month they featured said pattern, and they all made it and put their own twist on it as to the type of yarn they used, if they had to do any alterations. And they would show their progress in YouTube videos each week. And they also created a YouTube channel or a Facebook channel, sorry, for Things We're Making Thursday, and that will be important here in a second. So I didn't join in 2023. Now, I can honestly admit that the 1 month the project was It's a Hoot basket, I kind of sort of made that project once before, as in I did the basket part. I did not put the handles on, I just did the main basket part. No handles, and instead of the eyes and the beak, I made 3 flowers and joined it on with buttons. So I did the basket weave type thing in the round, and I followed the instructions. I have the pattern probably here in my one binder. So I did make it way back when. I think it was a good 4 or 5 years ago. Oh, more than that. It was pre-pandemic. Maybe about 7 or 8 years ago I made it now. So I did make that project, but other than that, I didn't make anything. I did follow, kept in touch and kept an eye on what people were making and had a look at everything. And on the Facebook group, occasionally I would go and find on the DIY site that I like to use knitted items that looked very similar to the crochet one they were doing that month. Because as you guys may know, I do knit and crochet, and I do follow some people who only knit, and then I follow people who only crochet, and then a lot of people who do both. So I guess between me sharing a few free knitted patterns that were similar, and Erin over at Crafting Kitty, also in her Things We're Making Thursday videos, was occasionally showing knitted patterns as well, they decided for 2024 they were going to switch it up. And in 2024, they gave us a theme each month, and that's when I jumped on the bandwagon very heavily, and each month was making projects and enjoyed it so much. I had a lot of fun with it. And this year they decided to change it up just a little bit more. And this year we're getting themes again each month. But we kind of have to design our own pattern. So they don't really want us to follow a pattern. So more or less a stitch we like and convert it into a pattern, which is pretty simple to do if you've got a lot of YouTubers you follow who do stitch tutorial, teach you different stitches. Most of the patterns can easily be, altered as to size, i.e. stitch count, stuff like that. And for the month of January, which I think January and February, I would have switched the 2 patterns myself. But January's pattern was dishcloths or / washcloths. And if you go back to my first video for January for Things We're Making Thursday, you will see I did do one. It was a really pretty washcloth I made. The stitch was gorgeous, had a nice little texture to it. And then I did do a video also showing photos of other dishcloths and washcloths I've made. Well, this month, the theme is scarf. Like I said, I think scarves should have been in January, especially with the cold snap that a lot of us have dealt with for January and February, or for Canada and US, sorry. And it's going to continue in February. Like I know here in Canada, we've had a few warnings for February, and like we got a lot of roads in Ontario, southern Ontario, that are, well, a little more northwest of us actually, that have been closed down due to storms and real high blowing winds and stuff like that. I think scarf should have been actually in January, but you know what? February is still a good month too. Now I like to, what I call killing multiple entries with one project. And how I do that usually is the stitch that I'm going to use. I go to Erin's Crafting Kitty Creator Spotlight each month and look at the tutorials, find a stitch, and that's going to be the one entry. Then obviously Things We're Making Thursdays, the other entry. And then another YouTuber I follow, she gives us each month a color theme, like a photo, and we got to pull out colors from it. And I try to make that one item at least in that one of the colors from the photo. And then one of the other groups that I participate in, we're doing 2 stitches competing against each other each month. So I may throw that make along in with it. So try and do 4 item, or 1 item, 4 entries kind of thing. But with the Facebook group, like the way you can participate is, if you're a content creator, you can make your own videos, share your items. if you're a content creator and you, or a non-content creator and you want to participate, you can either send your photos to content creators who are making videos, and yes, you can send them to me if you like, because I now have a way I can share photos in my videos. Like, I'm glad I learned that trick, because hey, this is actually not that hard. Or you can go over to the Facebook group, Things We're Making Thursday, and put your photos in that way. Also in that group, you just yarn talk, or just sit and chat with the ladies and gentlemen that are in there. Like, they're great people. So, yep, like I said, for this upcoming month, we're doing scarves. I haven't yet picked out my yarn or the pattern I'm going to stitch tutorial I'm going to try and use. But we'll see what I come up with. Anyways, guys, I'm trying to make this kind of short and sweet. Again, if you wouldn't mind going over to my poll and putting a vote in if you haven't already. I'm hoping either this Friday to be done these boot cuffs, if not next Friday for sure. So you still have time to put a vote in. And I will catch you guys all later. Have a good day, everybody.